How can I stand in front of people and express myself and be in one line? So everything has to be congruent. Congruence is authenticity. So what I feel, what I think, what I am, and what I say has to be one message. So everything has to be aligned. This is authentic.
Hello, Dean.
Hey.
We will have a course with you, and I'm very delighted that you come to Estonia 5 to 7th of May. And many people have asked, like, what kind of teaching are you following at all in order to bring people really to the more to together with their authentic self? My own experience says 7 years back that it was mind-blowingly authentic, very much in the heart, and your talented, your for me number one talent is to uh, being really authentic yourself, allowing others to feel centered and authentic in their presence. So, what can you say about it? What brought you there where you are now?
I mean, that's a very broad question. And again, in these few minutes, I cannot possibly tell you everything, but like the core of it, I guess, would be so there is no technique. There are techniques, but there is not one system.
Mhm.
So I don't follow system, I don't follow books. It comes all from my personal experience. So my personal experience led me. So I started since I was 17 on this like conscious exploration of who am I and why am I here.
Mhm.
And because of my interest in people and my interest in really deeply understanding who am I and why am I here on this planet right now, like what is going on with me, who, and so this question, those two questions, who am I and why am I here, are driving me my whole life. And every now and then, again, like I look in the mirror and I say, okay, so who are you? And why are you here? Like, what are you doing? And so those questions kind of drive me deeper into myself. And I found through decades of doing this kind of work, I found that actually by default, because I was answering these questions by driving into my depth, I was becoming more and more authentic. So it's almost like a byproduct. I wasn't trying to be more authentic. I just was really interested to find out who I am.
Mhm.
And then as a result of that, I found myself being more and more true to myself and I.e. more authentic. So when I work with people, I always look at them like myself. And because I did so much catalyzing of my own process, when I see other people that have similar or the same dynamics, it's easy for me to point it out and to bring it to the light and say, hey, do you maybe do this? Or do you feel like that? Or when you do this, does this have this kind of result? Because I can relate it to, first of all, to myself and also to all the thousands of people that I worked with already. So there is quite a lot of, if you like, my head is my being is a computer full of examples, stories, projections of people. I have a catalog, big catalog of examples. And so when I work with people, this is why it's difficult to tell you in few sentences or in a few minutes what I do, because it's so much of it that it's available to me to use that I cannot possibly tell you in few sentences. However, having this storage of ideas, it makes it very easy and very potent to actually suggest to people, because it's difficult to see yourself from inside. It's much easier when somebody looks at it from outside, from a place of heart and keen interest to help you and to be on your side. So if you
Mhm.
like, I'm becoming your best friend, your ally, I'm your team, and then I look at your life from your perspective. I kind of put myself in your shoes, and okay, if I'm you and if I had those experiences that you had, I can now see how you act and what drives you and what stops you and what are the potential problems in becoming or in expressing your authentic true self. And so this authentic true self is it's a process. It's like you go to spiritual gym and you start lifting weights.
Mhm.
Now, the weights that I lift in, or that we lift in the authenticity work, is how can I stand in front of people and express myself and be in one line. So everything has to be congruent. Congruence is authenticity. So what I feel, what I think, what I am, and what I say has to be one message. So everything has to be aligned. This is authentic. And so when I watch people in a space and when I watch myself in a space, very often it happens that I think one thing, but I say another one because I'm afraid to look bad, because I'm afraid of judgments, because of all sorts of social norms and conditioning and reasoning. So when I point this out to people, and so the only prerequisite, if you like, for people to benefit a lot from this kind of workshops and trainings that I do is to really be open to be coachable and to accept potentially that there are things inside themselves that they cannot see. And just to play a game, play along, if you like, because the stuff that I suggest, when you put it in practice and you actually put yourself in that situation, okay, this actually feels different, or yeah, this feels more aligned, or it feels more, it's easier to be me. So then we come closer to authenticity. So all of this process of becoming more authentic, really, it's ongoing laboratory. It's a process. It's not just one off. There's no formula that you can apply and say, okay, in this course I learned that if I say this when somebody says that, I'm authentic. No, that's as far as I'm concerned, shallow. What is deep and rich is looking at every situation individually, applying this, I call it a spiritual logic or grown-up thinking. And one by one, situation by situation, relationship by relationship, like deep picking your life and focusing on one aspect of it, and then opening that one aspect of it and say, okay, so in this aspect of your life, what do you do and how do you act, and what can you transform so that authentic expression shows up, so that you actually can be yourself, which is so simple. Like when, for example, when we look at children, when they play, when they move, when they express, they're so authentic. There is nothing hidden. There is nothing holds them back. Nothing. It's all like pure expression, pure expression. So this is authentic. And then when I look at grown-ups, they're like, yes, I'm happy. They talk about it, but they don't actually become it. And so the authenticity work is becoming like childlike, returning back to like removing the layers and onion skins and constrictions to really be yourself. Because to be yourself is authentic. It's so simple, it's so normal, so human. There's no big deal about it. It's just not very practiced. And it's not practiced because to be authentic in a modern civilized world would not be accepted. Like we are not allowed to be authentic in many situations because social norms stop it, because it's not done, because people don't talk about this, and so in a way, I know it's almost like sounds hard to say, but becoming authentic isolates me because there are so few really authentic people out there that they stick like a sore thumb in the middle of the crowd. Because most people, by far most people, unfortunately, are not willing to stand up for their own truth. They hide it, they mask it, they pretend. And that has a big cost for them, because when the soul is not expressed, when the depth is not expressed, eventually it feels dead and it feels like, where is life? Or it feels like, is this all there is to life? Like, where is zest? Where is zinginess? Where is full aliveness in the body, in the system, you know? So I'm rambling a lot. I'm going on and on because I'm trying to condense the picture of what authenticity and how to work with it is. And you can see that it's difficult to present it even in half an hour. So I invite people that come to, I guess, not have a fixed idea and just come open-minded and come curious like a child. And just if your life is working in every aspect of your life, all the relationships, your work, your home life, your hobbies, everything is fully expressed, don't come because you're already authentic. You don't need this. But if there are areas in your life or certain relationships or certain times in your life where you feel suspended or suppressed or not fully expressed or maybe too hard, then come and just curiously, like a child, sit in a circle with us and let's start opening the whole container of what your life is all about, you know. And then we can actually, after 3 days of doing that, then potentially you can say, oh, okay, now I understand how to work with authenticity and how to actually return to authentic expression.